Good morning, friends. How are you on this beautiful Wednesday? I hope y'all are doing good. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about grace this morning. And so as you jump on, make sure to say hey to me. I'm looking beautiful today. I am about to go get my hair cut, and I worked out this morning, so I have not made myself pretty yet. So here I am. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about grace and giving yourself grace. I have long time beat myself up because I don't feel good enough at times. I don't feel like I've done enough at times. This is Aiden trying to fix me.
Now you're beautiful.
Now I'm beautiful, he says. So anyway, as I was working out this morning, I was even talking about the fact that I have always been an overachiever, and that's something, oh my gosh, Ruth, good morning. There's my friend Ruth. And we were discussing this morning as I was working out that sometimes it's very difficult for me with the things in my mind to even take time for myself to go and exercise, whether I know it's good for me or not, because in the overachiever mind that I have that started with those puppet strings when I was little bitty, of having to do and do and do to take care of my younger sisters, which were a year younger than me, y'all. I was just 15 months old when my twin sisters were born. But it was placed in my mind at that time that I was a caregiver, that I needed to go and pay attention, that I needed to even tell mom and dad if they're doing something wrong. So yes, I got the label tattletale. And, you know, that's one of those things that's hard to break as you are older. It's that you've always been that person. You've always had to do a lot. You've always been required to lead. And they're just puppet strings. They're lies that the enemy attaches to you from very early on, that once you recognize them in your life, you have to break them. And so as I was working out today, I was sharing with my friends that it is a struggle sometimes to even be able to break away and to give myself that opportunity, because I feel like I'm not accomplishing enough. And y'all, that is terrible. Where in the world do these things come from, right? They come from the enemy, because he doesn't want us to rest in God's goodness. He doesn't want us to feel like we are good enough. He wants us to always feel like we are striving for a perfection that we will never, ever accomplish. And it comes in all ways of life and all psychological things within our mind, the attacks of the enemy. So I came home and I made myself some breakfast, and I had some coffee this morning, and I pulled out my little mug here, and I know it's backwards on your side, but it says, "Today I will give myself grace and remind myself how far I have come." And I wanted to ask you, do you give yourself grace? Whew, that's a tough one, isn't it? If you are anything like me, you have a mental battle that is constantly beating yourself up. Whether it's self-imposed things that we put on our plates where we just feel like we have to do and do and do and do, well, you're never going to do enough. You're never going to accomplish enough if that's the way you are. It's taken me a long time to recognize that there's water droplets on the counter, and it is okay. Y'all, that is the mental that I've had to deal with for much of my life. That it's okay if there's laundry that is still in the basket or laying on your couch or wherever. If there are dishes in the sink, it is okay. That there are things that are more important in life. What about the things of ailments that you're dealing with, and that you feel like you can't get over the hurdle because of an ailment that you deal with? Do you beat yourself up? Okay, I do. I feel like, well, this is hurting today. I can't get past it. You know, I just wish it were gone. I can't deal with it anymore. Well, sometimes God puts those things on us or allows us to have those things because it draws us closer to Him. And we have got to give ourselves grace once again, because we don't know the plan God has for our life. And so I was reminded this morning in 2 Corinthians, Paul is talking about what he is going through. And I wanted to share this because it's so very important. As I was talking with a friend last night who is dealing with some stuff with her health, and she just said, I just want it gone. Even to the point where I'm tired of living this way. I would rather him just take me than have to continue to live this way. And I tried to remind her that God's grace is sufficient, that is all we need, is his grace. And Paul writes, 2 Corinthians 12, verses 8 and 9, it says, 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. You see, Paul had what was referred to as a thorn in his side. And the thorn in his side, we think, was probably some type of physical ailment that, kept him from being able to do everything he wanted to do everything he needed to do, and probably was painful, it sounds like. And he says 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So Paul says, so now I'm glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. Have you ever thought about it that way? That sometimes we are walking through something that is a struggle for us, and we just beat ourselves up over it, and that we want it to be gone, or we want to be through it. That is a thorn in our side, whether it's our minds going and just dragging us down, this repetitive negative self-talk that we beat ourselves up over. I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I'm not able, I feel guilty that I'm even out there doing something. Well, God doesn't want us to feel guilt. Condemnation was gone with Jesus on the cross. We are no longer to be condemned. God has given us grace through the blood of Jesus Christ on the cross. And Paul is telling us that in our weaknesses, that Jesus is made strong. And so that he can now boast, he can be prideful about his weaknesses, and he can just say, listen, in my weakness, Jesus is made strong. And because of the blood of Jesus on the cross, that we can be made strong through that weakness as well. And so today, I just want to encourage you, whatever it is that is on you, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, that guilt, that condemnation, let it go and rest in God's grace that he gives you through Jesus. Y'all, once you get there, it's a beautiful place to be. And yes, it is a daily battle. But if we are in the Word and we continue to remind ourselves of this, then we will be able to do what God has called us to do, instead of wallowing in our self-pity that the enemy is placing upon us. Y'all have a blessed day. If you need anything, let me know. I am happy to be here for you and pray for you. Love you guys.